Okay, last video. You're going to miss these videos, Willis. You're going to wish you had more of them. We're going to talk about the perfect tense. So remember, the perfect tense and basically anything that happens with a verb after the second principal part. So if you're using either the third or the fourth principal part, it does not matter what conjugation the verb is. Every verb on the planet behaves the same way. And I'm going to prove it to you by doing a regular verb and by doing an irregular verb. So we're going to do the stem and we're going to do the ending, but there will be no weirdness when you're dealing with the third principal part and the perfect stem. So we're just going to do stem plus ending. It doesn't matter what conjugation the verb is. It doesn't matter if it's irregular or regular. Third principal part, every verb behaves the same. So the stem is going to be the perfect stem, which remember is the third principal part, remove the I. The endings are going to be e, isti, it, imus, istis, erunt. So again, if your teacher takes long marks seriously, there's one on the first person, there's one on the end of the second person, and then there's one on this E. One rule to keep in mind, and I don't have 100% proof of this, but I think virtually every Latin word that ends in an I, that I is long. So if you're ever in a situation where you are thinking to yourself, I don't know if this is long or short, if it's an I at the end of a word, I would say guess long. Off the top of my head, I can't think of a word that ends in an I that it's a short I. So that's one little kind of shortcut for remembering long marks. So that's all you need to know. And then again, it's I verbed, you verbed, he verbed, we verbed, y'all verbed, they verbed. So let's take a third conjugation verb just because it can act weird. So duco, ducere. So for this, you need the duxi, ductus. So for this, you need to have three principal parts. So I'm just showing you what a verb looks like with all four principal parts. So we're going to start with the stem, which is dux. So we are going to write dux 6 times. I think there might be a long mark on that, on the U, but I can't remember because I've never learned the stem long marks. The X may make it that you don't need it. But and then you're going to add the endings, which is E, isti, it, imus, istis, erunt. I led, you led, he, she, it led, we led, y'all led, they led. Every verb behaves this way. That's how you form the perfect tense of every verb. So to prove it to you, let's take the most irregular verb in the Latin language, sum esse fui, which is the verb to be. The present is sum esse est, sum esse est sunt. The imperfect is aram, aras, arat, aramus, aratus, arant. There's no BAs. But as soon as you get here, you can write the stem 6 times. And as I tell my students, this is the only time you can say FU to me, is if you're spelling the perfect stem of the verb to be. And then you add E, isti, it, imus, istis, and then I lost the U there, erunt. So even the most irregular verb in the Latin language, perfect stem, perfect tense, totally regular. You don't need to learn any weirdness. You don't need to learn any irregularities. Count to 3 and with the principal parts, and every verb behaves the same. So that is the perfect tense. Those are the long marks. I hope I've explained everything you need to know for your Latin 2 class. And as always, if you have more questions, please ask me, and I'm happy to help.